It was a couple years ago. I had this one client and we ended up doing a pretty decent deal. It was like close to a $30,000 deal spread across 3 months. So it was like 1 month was like big, like $12,000. The other 2 months were like the rest split up. So it was a pretty good deal, very nice client, very good client. And they taught us that number one, the big reason that they went with us was because we actually charged the most. But there is a few things that I've learned about offers, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with people today, because it took me 4 to 5 years in my career to like finally really learn what an offer is, and kind of how to present that. So what I do want people to know here, specifically for video creatives, an offer is not your rates. Like, your rate is not an offer. Your rate is the thing that you've been taught to trade your time for money. That make the most offers, make the most money. If there was like only a few things that, like if I spoke with a video entrepreneur and there was only a few things that they could do and they had to be successful, right? Like, it's essentially to build a business that allows you to make more offers.
All right, guys, welcome to the Video Income Secrets podcast. Today's episode is gonna be super special. Have you ever heard this saying that says, make a good offer that people will feel so stupid saying no to? Well, today's guest, I call him the king of offers. And that is my brother, Rob. Yo, my man, Rob, how you doing, man?
What's up, Sam? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yo, this is awesome, man. I'm super excited for this episode. Now, before we get started, because I know we're going to get deeper into the conversation, talk about offers, talk about how to make money, doing video. But could you please introduce yourself for the people who don't know you and actually just give us an idea, how long have you been doing video?
Yeah, 100%. Well, first and foremost, again, Sam, thank you for having me. Dude, it's shows like yours, shows like this that really offer videographers so much value, people in the video space, and it's things that I think you and I both can agree we wish we had when we first started. So first and foremost, dude, big shout out for having that. Like you said, my name, I'm Rob Pierluisi Espedia. You've actually had on the show my other brothers here as well, Robert and Jay. So the last name or even the faces may seem a little familiar, but a little bit about myself. So I've been in the video space professionally since 2019. And then, of course, we all know that what happened in 2020 and the kind of couple years after that. But our time in the video space, especially of the last couple years, the most, impactful stuff has been that before the age of 27, before I turned 27, our team was able to do 7 figures inside of our video agency. We've done 7 figures just in the last 3 years alone, combined, of course, being super transparent. And we've taken the same business model that worked really well for us for our agency, applied that to all of our other ventures and all of our other products and services that we've offered. And, fast forward today, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, ranging from the local mom and pop business, chiropractors, dentists, all the way up to big name companies, big car brands, working with big agencies that have deals with them, and even like Adobe, the software company, and a couple other big names like that, and some other projects in the work. And as far as our consultancy, so we obviously grew our video business, but we teach and coach other creatives and video specialists on how to grow their business. And we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of people on a one-on-one setting. I've personally spoken to thousands of videographers, and through the grace of God, we've been able to get our paid material in the hands of thousands of videographers as well. And so that's been a journey that's been around the last couple years, like 2-3 years. And just, we're deep in the video space, and this is a phenomenal niche that I love for myself and for everybody else here. And, God willing, we're going to continue working on that.
Yo, that's fire, man. So can you tell us, because I know we're going to get, into offers and things like that, the good stuff that people, me included, that want to know more about. But how did you get into coaching? Like, what inspired you to actually start coaching? Did you have a mentor or someone who kind of pushed you into, that direction?
Yeah. So hopefully what I'm about to share is more encouraging for most people than not. And it hasn't been only until really 5-6 years in my entrepreneurial career that I've noticed this. But from the very beginning, as soon as, myself, but our entire team started getting some success, it always came from us trying things, failing, and then helping other people out. So I'll actually explain. That actually happened for us in the video world. So we all know that like in 2020, 2021, that's kind of when the short form content stuff started popping up, right? Like TikTok became a big thing, Reels, YouTube, all of a sudden all of these companies are doing these short form things. Myself, my brother, our team, we were making micro content videos since 2020, like before all of these other platforms were a thing. So essentially, whether it was a done for you service or some type of coaching or consulting, it always arrived from the core of us doing what we were already doing. In the business world, it's called meta, like META, where you're essentially selling what you're doing. You're in the sales, you're in the delivery, and you're like a display and the proof of like whatever it is that you're teaching. And so in the video space, we would make short form videos in order to try to sell big like packages, like brand message video packages, testimonial packages, all this type of stuff. And funny enough, what clients wanted the most are leads that we would get from making short form videos. They wanted short form videos, so we were helping other
Mm-hmm.
businesses do the short form videos. Then we started having a nice setup kind of like this and making virtual content, and then our clients wanted to have a nice setup and make virtual content. We started promoting brand message videos. Our clients wanted brand message videos. We started posting testimonials and different cool ways of using them. Clients wanted the same thing. So our like space in the B2B space with other businesses has always just been doing that. And what I've realized and found out is that most creatives, if you are like actually pretty good at what you do, you're already to a certain extent coaching your clients. You're just doing it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're coaching your clients. Sam, I know you've had a couple of recent successes that maybe people here on this show know, but if they don't, essentially what you've been doing, everything from camera performance, your setup, all that stuff, you've been helping your clients and selling them to clients. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's probably a little bit of coaching, even though it's a service that you had to sell,
Yeah.
some a little coaching, a little walkthrough. So
Yeah.
I always found out that from the very beginning, our role required coaching. And then it wasn't until I had a client in 2021 where it was one of our first international clients for that year. And
Mm-hmm.
this guy was in Sweden. And I was kind of just going through some stuff with him about how to script videos. This was before ChatGPT was like popular, all this stuff. I was just showing him our frameworks. I was showing him how we set up studios, how we do all these things back in 2021. And I'll never forget these words. I've never repeated them for myself, but he just looks at me and he's like, dude, you are like really good at this. I was like, how old was I back then? I was probably 21, 22 years old, maybe something like that, 23. And I found that very encouraging. And
Yeah.
I wanted to learn as much as I could just so I could sell video services. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, like my offers, our packages were all of this expertise in exchange for letting us do your video.
Yeah.
And so it was then when I realized, oh man, maybe we're actually, pretty good at this. And we kind of cracked this down really well, to the point where we ended up scaling our agency, at the time to about $40,000 per month. We ended up growing even more than that, but it was around that time where then, within different communities, my name kind of got passed around. I was already helping some people out. I had the benefit, it was a blessing to be able to help out hundreds of people in the DMs just through like recordings of me doing different things. And it
Mm-hmm.
came to all the way where we created our first like digital program back in 22, I think, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was 2021, 2022 actually, one of those two. And that's when we started kind of doing more mass market coaching and helping other video creatives do the same thing we did in our
Yeah.
agency, which we still do today. But yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit of my story. But hopefully, this everybody who's listening kind of hears this and thinks, like even though I'm selling a service, there's probably an element of like coaching or consulting or like just helping people through that we're all doing. And that's when I first kind of fell into it, was just trying to sell done for you video services.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like most of us, like we are probably coaching. We just don't put a name on it. Like,
A value
most
to it, yeah.
videographers, because at some point, if you're serving like some sort, like if you're serving a business, maybe showing them how to, to do lighting or how to record audio or whatever kind of service you're providing, somehow you're coaching someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, that's an inspiring story. So right now you're doing, for the people who don't know, obviously I do know, but so you're doing a little bit of coaching, and like percentage wise, like done for you in coaching, like where you making doing more business, like percentage wise?
Yeah. So hopefully this next part will be more encouraging for people than not. So what I've learned is when it comes to everything you do, done for you services will always just be a lot of good cash flow. Like if I had to start all over again, I would just pick a done for you service and I would just help people, which is why till this day I still do done for you services. The difference is, and this is with the new model that I'm actually more than happy to talk about. I haven't seen any other video creative or other kind of I wouldn't call them big names, but just like influential names in the video space discuss this or talk about this, which is a model that allows you to essentially kind of have like a hybrid agency where you are doing done for you services, but you're able to monetize different types of leads and different types of price points with different types of offers. So I say all of this because essentially our business is the same. We just serve different niches. Allow me to explain. Essentially, what we do is we have done for you services that we do for coaches, consultants, course creators, chiropractors, local businesses, and video creatives as well. We also have digital products or coaching consulting offers that we do for coaches, consultants, course creators, real estate agents, chiropractors, or video creatives as well. So essentially, it's one business that does all of those things. We do done for you services, we do coaching, consulting. However, we serve two different niches.
Oh, okay. But then there's another coaching element of coaching other creatives.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new niche, a whole new
Yeah.
demographic, whole new people. Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely. So where you like currently, where are you making more money between those three?
Between the three of,
Yeah, like coaching other creatives, and then coaching, other like your actual niche that you're serving,
yeah,
coaching and doing done for you services for them.
yeah. It's a pretty good split. It's a pretty good split.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes 40-60 one way, and that
Okay.
actually changes at times. So sometimes it's like 60 towards more like our traditional audiences, previous clients. Sometimes it's more 40 towards the video creative. Sometimes it's kind of flips, but it usually stays around there 50-50, 60-40, kind of either way.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's get to the meat, man. So I call you the king of offers. All right. That's me. Okay. Can you explain for the people who don't know what's an offer for video entrepreneurs, and why is it important to have an offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, dude, Sam, your words too kind, bro. I appreciate that. Definitely not like no king, but there is a few things that I've learned about offers, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with people today because it took me 4 to 5 years in my career to like finally really learn what an offer is, and kind of how to present that. So what I do want people to know here, specifically for video creatives, an offer is not your rates. Like your rate is not an offer. Your rate is the thing that you've been taught to trade your time for money. Then we at least had a little bit of like higher elevated, which is where you think packages. Packages are a little bit closer to like what an offer is, but for most video creatives, they just think of packages as like deliverables, a list of
Yeah.
deliverables.
Yeah.
Whereas an offer is the best way to describe it is really like the reason why clients buy your stuff to begin with. And it's essentially a promise and a plan through deliverables that will help your clients get the result that they want. And it's just us as video creatives. Videos happen to be a part of that. But an offer is simply a promise and a plan of how we're going to get to a certain result using video content specifically.
Perfect. So how do you come up with an offer? What's the process?
Yeah. So it really depends on where you're at. After working with hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of businesses across all of our companies, because there's certain similarities amongst all businesses, we found that on how you want to create an offer has a lot to do with where you're at in the chessboard. So I really like comparing this. I'm not like a big chess guy myself, and you yourself or anybody watching doesn't need to understand it a ton to realize this. But I think everybody who's played one game or even checkers can understand that when you move one piece, the whole game changes. Is that a fair statement? Like now there's different possibilities. Then the next person moves and then the next person moves. So there's different possibilities every single time. And at different moments in time, there is a different thing that could be the best move. And I feel like real life is more like that, to where all of
Yeah.
us are in different places in the chessboard at all moments in time. And
Mm-hmm.
coming up with an offer and to get to our next like result or the next goal that we want has a lot to depend on where we're at currently. So to get a little bit more tactical, what does that mean? It essentially means that if you have a certain revenue goal or a certain bill you have to make or a certain thing that you have to hit, then you want to take a look at your chessboard, which means all the assets that you have, the list of people that you know, the people who you can reach out to, the people who know about you. And from there, you can create an offer. So, what I like to do is think of like revenue goals for people
Mm-hmm.
specifically. There's a certain revenue goal that you want to hit. Well, it's what kind of offers can I make that will help me get to this revenue goal? And then what
Mm-hmm.
kind of offers can I make? Who do I have in my circle that I can reach out to those people? It's very seldom where the best move is to create something brand new that nobody's heard of and you have nobody to sell it to.
Mm-hmm.
That's rarely the best move. However,
Okay.
whenever people like get into this stuff, that's the first thing they do. The best thing to do is to actually take a look at all the assets you have, meaning all the people. Do you have any previous clients? Have you had anybody who almost became a client, like which most people should have? Like if you've been in this video space and you've had at least a handful of clients, well, for every handful of clients, you have a handful of people who almost became clients but didn't. Is that a fair statement, right? Like if you have one client, then you had to talk to three people to get that client. Well, one out of three. And so I actually categorize this like in buckets. So like if you already had previously paying clients, people who've done stuff with you before, you can actually make them a better or different offer than you make a complete stranger. They already trust you. You can make a custom package. So do that. Or if you have people, I call it the silver bucket, where maybe they've done business with you in the past, or they wanted to do business, but for one reason or another, it didn't happen. It's not that they didn't want to work with you. It's just that specific offer at that specific time was not a good fit. But you can always make them another offer. And then last, I don't want to say but least, but last is like creating a brand new offer for like a brand new market, a brand new set of strangers. So that's kind of how you go about an offer is you say, what are the people in my vicinity? What do I think they want? And how do I uh, help them get there with an offer?
Mm-hmm. So I know now you talked about, like how an offer is different from like, traditional packages that we used to. Like, to be honest, before like I make an offer, like, an offer, it just sounds a little fancy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sounds like a fancy marketing word, like, to be honest. um until you create one, right? You come up with an offer and then you sell it and actually people buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So once you sell your first offer, it's like, okay, now it makes like it makes sense. Because at first I was like, okay, I gotta come up with the list of things that I'm say, okay, like deliverables, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with the list of deliverables and I'm just gonna present to somebody, to my prospect, potential client. And if they say yes, I mean, obviously that's my offer. So can you clarify like what's the biggest difference between just coming up with like a list of deliverables or a list of, like normal packages that they say like wedding videographers?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the main difference between those and an actual offer?
Yes, yes. I think the easiest way to look at it is in the lens of the client. Like the best way to turn deliverables into an offer is by swapping the perspective of what you're doing. So we think that the deliverables that we find so valuable as video creatives are what our clients find valuable. And that's just not the truth. For us, we think it's like 10 videos, for example. Well, what does 10 videos mean for a client? 10 videos for a client could mean the perfect set of videos to launch your social media. It could mean the next 3 months worth of paid ads so you can cycle through and find the best performing ones. It could be a series of educational videos to take somebody from a stranger into a client. 10 videos could be a series on whatever, whatever. So it's what does it mean for the client? And that's the offer. Whereas in for us video creatives, 10 videos is 10 videos.
Yeah.
But for the client, those things could be so many different things. Does that make sense? Like a little bit?
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
makes sense.
just
Yeah,
through the
because
lens of the
10
client.
videos probably like for the client to worth nothing.
Nothing.
So they're most likely, if it's worth nothing, they're not gonna pay for it.
Exactly.
You know? But like, if one specific video that's going to make them, I don't know, maybe $10,000, $20,000,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, maybe it's a business video or it's a course that you're helping them create,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna make them money, they're probably gonna be happy to pay you $5K for that one single video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it
You
makes
got
a
it.
lot of sense, man. but it takes time to understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the key, man. It takes time to understand. So now, do you think, like, what kind of mistakes do you see most videographers or video entrepreneurs are making, when it comes to offers
Mhm.
or, kind of marketing in general?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's a great question. So there's a couple mistakes. I would say if there's one that would just solve almost all of the other mistakes, like over time, it's volume. Essentially, like we have this saying within our community, which is the videographers, video creatives, video business owners, however, creatives that make the most offers make the most money. It's the ones that make the most offers make the most money. When you make a lot of offers, then every day people know about what you do. Every day people know about how you work. Every day people know how they can give you money. And even if the offer is not that great, well, throughout time, you're able to make it better and all this stuff because of making offers. So I would say mistake number one is just purely lack of volume. People don't try to put offers together. They don't try to let people know about offers at all. So that's kind of usually the beginning end of the spectrum, where I would say the end of the spectrum is stubbornness. Stubbornness with offers, where it's like, no, I want to sell this thing and I don't care that other people want something similar to it but different. This is what I want to sell. And it's like, now we're being stubborn. Like, are we here to sell our stuff or are we here to help people? So, stubbornness with an offer, which means either you should be willing to change it or just drop it completely, which is a mistake I've seen people do. They put together an offer that nobody wants. They think it's great, but nobody wants it. And then they're like, no, I'm gonna keep making it. And it's like we're just being a little too stubborn. I think if we just drop that. So usually it's one of those two. It's like complete lack of volume. People are just not even trying to make offers. And then when they do decide to make an offer, they just kind of stay really stuck on it, and they're not willing to like make it better or just scrap it and start with something else.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So my question is, like, does this apply to all niches? Let's say like someone who's selling wedding videos, like a wedding videographer. What would be an offer for someone like that? Because my mind is still going to the freaking,
Packages.
packages. So,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's do this. So I don't work with wedding videographers very often. I meaning the ones who want to stay in it. Like oftentimes
Mm-hmm.
most of the wedding videographers that I talk, this is no hate towards the wedding industry, are trying to get
Yeah,
out of it. They're
yeah,
like, look, I've been doing this for a long time. I want to get out. I want to get into the social media stuff. I want to get into the remote stuff. I don't want to work weekends anymore. I don't want to like work every weekend in my life. There's different types of things like that. And but the offer game is just as applicable to them as any other niche, as any other business. Any business can have a stack of offers and should have a stack of offers. But if it's for videographers specifically, let's just say the wedding industry, well, like the best thing, best easiest way is a good offer, a great offer, and like the best offer, right? So like a middle package, a top package, and a high package. And what's really interesting is we've actually applied some of the methodologies that we do for social media based clients and different type of like B2B space into some of the B2C business to consumer kind of people to the wedding space. And it
mm-hmm.
works. Everything from like our undercover funnel, which I know you've heard a little bit about, which is like how we're able to close deals without sales calls because it's very
Yeah.
reliant on the offer. And so we've actually been able to take a few people who wanted to apply those things into the wedding industry, and it's
Mm-hmm.
working really well for them. So essentially, what they do is they apply that close by chat model, the undercover funnel, where they let people know about the different offers that they have. Hey, I have this package, I have this package, and I have this package. But for example, you can get into like for any of them, it's like $1,000 deposit, for example. And so they make $1,000 deposit, and then afterwards they paid, and then they can jump on a call with the wedding videographer, and then just kind of make a final decision on which package to make. So that's like an example of how you can kind of apply those things, or how you can have great offers as a wedding videographer. It really is kind of like the packages and then why. So it's not just a deliverable, but it's the reason why you want this deliverable. So like some people want the really long wedding video, so that way you have like the whole memory. But then like part of the offer, like you can make a better offer where you have your long video and I make you 12 different reels or short form videos so you can talk about your wedding for 7 to 14 days, and all of your friends will love it, and blah 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 blah. Like, it's just extra videos, but to the bride, to the
Yeah,
groom,
it
all
means
those people, it
something.
means something. Exactly.
So what you're saying is like people. I mean, it's not nothing wrong having like packages on their websites, but it's like people should be ready to adjust, like make adjustments every time you're trying to close a deal with a new client. You should kind of be willing to make adjustments to your packages and kind of listen to the client and trying to offer what's more valuable, what they value the most. Because I've seen people, I used to do it too, where you just have like, okay, this is what I offer, like, package number one, package number two, package number three. You choose whatever you like, and if like that's just those are just three choices. That's it, right?
Hmm.
So but like if you go into it with from like a client's perspective, you're gonna kind of be willing to listen to the client
Hmm.
and be willing to make adjustments on the packages, and then create a custom offer for them,
Hmm.
uh possibly upsell them even more stuff.
Big one. Yeah, big one.
Oh man, okay, so can you talk more about your undercover funnel, like, and how does it work? And actually, for the people who are new to this, like, what's a funnel and
Hmm.
how does it work and how does it go with the no for like all those fancy words?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So what is the undercover funnel system? So it's I'll tell you a little bit of the history behind it, and kind of how it came to be. So around this time last year, back in 2024, in like January, February of 2024. So we're recording this in 2025 February. A little bit over a year ago, as an entrepreneur, and the longer people are in this, they will see things like this happen. But we were, I'll call it victim for lack of a better word, but it just happened to us. We were one of those like infamous Stripe closures, where you have a merchant account and you're collecting cash from it, and your clients are paying from it, and you have credit cards and all this stuff. And we had a merchant account with multiple five figures, just multiple five figures in there, of work that we just did throughout about a week. So it was about a week's worth of work, but it was like a big week for us. It was a launch week. We launched offers to different clients, re-upsells. We had like low offers, we had mid offers, and high offers, all within that week of things that we sold. And essentially overnight, we lost. Long story short, we ended up getting the money back 6 to 7 months later. But for those 6 to 7 months, essentially, we thought we were never going to get it back. And so I'm a big believer that necessity is the mother of invention. So anywho, we just finished working our butts off, collecting all this money. And then all of a sudden, Stripe is like, yeah, you're not going to get any of it. We're actually going to keep it. We have the right to keep it. And so here we are with like rent due, payroll due. Remember, we have team members who helped us do all these things, and we now have to deliver on all of these clients. So we were in, for lack of a better word, I don't know if I can swear here, but just like a little bit of a shitty situation. Like, it wasn't ideal. And so we needed to find a way to be able to get more sales and do so fast. And so we had already had the experience of selling mid-ticket and high-ticket offers to other businesses in the B2B space completely. And what we did was we created a new offer. It was a $500 offer with an upsell to go up to $1,000. And we essentially, within a span of 3 days, built out a new offer and pushed it out to people. And it was a offer that was built on a Google document, and we collected all of the money via DMs. So we didn't have the time to get on sales calls. We weren't able to like do big launches again because we just finished a launch. We just
Yeah.
closed card. So like we
Hmm.
couldn't sell any of those things that we would want to sell more of in order to try to catch up.
Yeah.
So it had to be a brand new offer, had to come from a Google document because we didn't have time to build a fancy funnel or a website or get media or
Hmm.
anything. We just had Google document, and then letting people know about it in the DMs, because fortunately it was something that we have been building for years, right? I have thousands of friends on my Facebook in different types of business industries. Like 90% of my Facebook friends are business owners. The other 10% are like family, friends, connections, etc. And through the grace of God, essentially, we saved ourselves. Like that February, we were able to make the money that we just lost, and then March, same thing. So each month we were selling multiple five figures of these $500 to $1,000 packages using Google Docs. Well, it worked. It got us out of it, and we wanted to do more, but essentially, and through no blame whatsoever, but the current mentor that we were working with at the time said, you guys just need to go back to like high ticket, back to calls again, because that's what we used to do. That's what Jay does really, really well. Like calls, it's the traditional good old model. And so we did. And then as we were growing our business, we realized, dude, like we're selling more high ticket stuff. We're selling retainers. We're selling contractual work. And we have less and less and less time to take sales calls. So it's like, how are we going to get more clients if we have no time to even get the calls going? So we relaunched again an offer using the undercover funnel system, that's what we call it. Essentially, it's mixing of just using Google Documents, Loom videos, and DMs and payment links, so you can get paid, right? Like a payment link of doing these things and essentially collecting thousands and thousands of dollars every month, every week, every day. And then we use that same system to teach it to other creatives so that they can go get clients on their behalf, selling four-figure deals, also a couple three-figure deals like little coaching bundles, consulting bundles, but selling four-figure clients without sales calls, just using Google Documents and Loom Video. So a very low-tech approach that allows people to be able to get clients and collect money, even sometimes in their sleep.
So what's the secret there? Like, because you're just using a Google Doc. Do you get to talk to the client first? These are people you probably have interacted with before, so you have an idea of what kind of offer they would buy. How do you go about it?
Yeah. So in short, it's a system that is very reliant on a good offer. When I do believe this, like the better your offer, the less skilled you have to be in sales and marketing in order to make that offer work. And I actually learned those skills in reverse. Like I do want to give a disclaimer. Like if I could start all over again, I would actually try to learn as much about offer creation, package creation as possible, then learn about marketing, and then learn about sales. Like I would do that in that order. I actually learned all those things backwards. First I learned sales, then I learned marketing, then I learned offer creation. But the best things in our business has come after we learned the offer game. So it's a system that's reliant on an offer, and essentially it's the offer is so good, like the good old Hormozy saying, that people feel stupid saying no, and you can communicate that via a Google document. Now, us as video professionals, that video really helps to communicate, like get people to know, like you, and trust you. So what you do is you present those offers using Loom Video. And then there's a system that we called like the hybrid Loom system, where most people tell you to just film one Loom for every single offer you make. But we actually found a way to use not one-to-many language, but one-to-one language. So using words that make it sound like we're talking to just one person, document the offer, and then duplicate it for every single prospect we send. So essentially we timed this. It takes about 60 seconds total to send a new offer to a new prospect using this system. So in a sales call, it takes you 60 minutes to even get to the point of showing them your offer. Whereas with the undercover funnel system, it takes you 60 seconds. And so that allows you to just do higher volume every day. And because you can close it, it's at a specific price point. I'm not telling people to close $10,000 deals without sales calls, but it's very reasonable to close $1,000, $1,500 deals without sales calls using Google Documents and Loom.
Wow.
And volume, yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So you're doing all this, no funnels, just a Google Doc. So my question is like, do actually people read the Google document?
Yeah. I mean, people do read it. In fact, it's actually interesting. We found that whenever you send an offer, you want to have both. So we actually tested these things. Like we've tested like hundreds of data points with actually seeing conversion rates and what works better. We found that when people have access to a video, the video closes them, but when they have the document, they can skim it. Whereas in a video, people can't skim a video, but people can skim a document and see, this is kind of interesting. Let me look into it further. So yeah, people read it, but you actually send it in a bundle where they have like the Loom video as well. So whether you send a document and it has a Loom walkthrough linked on the document, or whether you send a Loom video and it has the document linked to the Loom video. At the end of the day, you want to get the offer to people, and then it's actually just you reading it. Like our top performing offer presentations is not getting fancy. It's just reading the offer from the top to the bottom without adding our extra stuff that actually ruins the sales process.
So okay, so let's say you master the art of offers,
Mhm.
right? You create good offers, and you getting clients. This actually kind of happened to me, where now more people want to take your offers,
Mhm.
but you probably don't have a team, right? Or you have a small team, right? Like obviously, when you're selling, you're not like, I'm gonna just sell to 2, 3 people. You're selling to many people because you don't know who's gonna take it,
Right.
and eventually many people get to take your offer. Like, how do you make sure you're actually ready for kind of being able to fulfill if like you get too many people actually taking your offers,
Yeah.
buying your offers?
Yeah. So I will say, like, I think you've definitely put in the work to get to this situation. But that is a rare occasion amongst most creatives where they have too much work. Most people like now it does come in ebb and flows. Like sometimes it pours, right? Like shoot, dude, like it was a dry spell for a month, 2 months, all of a sudden it's pouring. That's crazy. So one of the things is, of course, like being prepared for it in terms of like welcoming and having faith and believing that it'll happen. It's like I'm gonna get a big influx of clients, so kind of just like preparing for it. And when it happens, you're like, wow, I'm grateful. I asked for this, I prayed for this, or I just worked for this, or a combination of all three. But the other thing that you can do is something that I like to do, whether I launch new offers or proven offers, is launching cohorts. And this is very popular in like the coaching world, but you can very much use it in the agency world or for anything that you do. And essentially, it's just scarcity and urgency, right? So you have a new offer, and you're only going to sell it to you only let 5 people in, and they're only going to be allowed to join within a certain amount of time. And if you sell out your cohort, fantastic. Everybody else can go into a waiting list. And then now this next time you launch, you have people who are already interested in it. But that's how you can do it. It's just launch a cohort. And honestly, that's the best way to do a promo cycle is like, hey, I want to sell. And like, if you can sell out, fantastic. This is a mistake. I know we've left mistakes behind, but a mistake that I see videographers make all the time when they do a promo, it's like they're like available for 15 people for the next month. And it's like, real talk, you know, you don't even have that many people in your system that will buy 15 immediately, and like 3 weeks, that's a lot of time to think about it. So how about let's shorten it, right? 7 to 10 days are really good promo cycles, 14 days max, and let's just try to sell out 5 spots. And if you can sell out those 5 spots, I mean, if you need to take on a 6 person, there's something else that you can do, right? There's other ethical ways we can bring them on. But yeah, having a close cohort, I've found that just helps with delivery, but it also helps with ethically doing
Yeah,
and lead gen.
cool. So let's talk about pricing. How do you come up with numbers? You know, because I've seen in my personal experience, I've seen clients who are ready to pay for the same thing.
Mhm.
You have two clients. One client who's ready to pay, let's say $2,000
Mhm.
for exactly the same thing. Another client is willing to pay only $200.
Mhm.
Right now, we could say maybe okay for the $2,000 client, maybe that's whatever you're offering. That's the value, that for the whatever thing you're selling to them. And then for them, the $200 could be how they value your offer. But again, sometimes you don't know which client you're gonna be talking to,
Mhm.
and maybe you're crafting an offer that you probably want to sell. Like you let's say you're doing the undercover funnel kind of system, right? Eventually you're gonna come up with the number. So what do you have any strategy, like how do you come up with those numbers, prices and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, bro, that's a great question. So there's a couple levers of influence that determine where we price things at. And what I'll share is like with everything that I've been talking about, like we've actually tested these things. Like you find out how easier it is to make decisions when you can actually test things and you have numbers behind it, and you're like, okay, because of this is why I should raise my prices, lower my prices, do whatever. So a lot of good stuff happens when we track. But pretty much the big things that we take into correlation are number one, based off of our brand and what's going on in the market. What are I don't want to say what we have been allotted to charge, but based on our brand, our influence, the things that we're doing, how much can we reasonably charge for this thing? And you always, dude, you do want to push the limit and up until like other numbers, things like closing rates, stuff like that are affected, which we can talk about that if you want. And the second one, and this is actually what I would recommend for beginners or just like a new offer just to test something out, is to use actual market data for what people are spending. And so we tested this out with our information. We tested this out with client information. So we took our clients, we took their CRMs, we took our CRMs, and we actually saw, based on like different levels of the market, how much are people spending. And here's what we found. 70% of any market usually is like not very aware, they're not very educated, but it's the bigger side of the market, and they tend to spend for similar conversion rates upwards of $100, a whopping $100 to solve their problem. So this is where things like templates, digital
Mm-hmm.
assets, digital programs. I know you have like some you sell things in your store, right? Like you have a store,
Yeah,
like presets, all like
overlays. Yeah.
exactly all of these things like under $100, they do really well for that specific side of the market. Then there's another
Mm-hmm.
side of the market. This is what I call like the cash pool, because it has the most amount of people that are willing to invest a reasonable amount of money. And that's the 25% of the market. If I could draw, I would draw a pyramid. If we do this again, I'll bring some pictures or something. And that's the 25% of the market. And those people are usually willing to invest anywhere between $500 to $5,000 per year. And so this is where a lot of like small recurring offers can come in. This is where like 3-month packages come in. This is where like that one client who only invested 5K with you one time and that's all they could do that year. But this is a bigger chunk of the market that has more money. $500 to 5,000, that's pretty reasonable. If you had enough of those clients, you'd make a really good living. Then you have a higher side of the market. It's called like the 4% of the market. And these are your traditional retainer clients. These are the people who can like hook onto your services for a very extended long period of time. And so these normally average between $1,000 a month to $3,000 a month. That's about 4% of the market. And then you have the top 1% of the market, the top 1% of clients, where they invest six, eight, $10,000 per month with an agency like yours or mine. But again, that's only 1% of the market. If they have more money than that, they typically start building their own internal teams or they work outside of like our market. So we don't really count that. We count the people who invest into agencies like yours and mine. And so then it's knowing who I want to target. Then I'm gonna build an offer that is around those prices. Like, does that logically make sense? Like, oh,
Yeah.
statistically, people are spending this amount of money, so I'll
Yeah.
probably have a higher chance of having a good product market fit if I charge around that pricing.
Yeah, that's gold, man. That's gold. Because like I see sometimes, even on YouTube, I see, some people like saying, "Oh, I'm selling high ticket, how do you sell high ticket?" It's like it's always confusing. Like until you do it, right? You just like don't understand it. Like, how can I sell something? Like what would I put in that somebody would be willing to pay me $10,000?
That's the question.
Right?
That's the magic question.
You wanna answer that?
Well, I mean, to answer that, it depends who you want to sell that $10,000 thing to.
Mm-hmm.
Like who are you selling that to? Uh, I learned something. It was a couple years ago. I had this one client, and we ended up doing a pretty decent deal. It was like close to a $30,000 deal spread across 3 months. So it was like almost 10. 1 month was like big, like $12,000. The other 2 months were like the rest split up. So it was a pretty good deal. Very nice client, very good client, and they actually taught us something. And they taught us that number one, the big reason that they went with us was because we actually charge the most. Now, there's certain times and places where you want to do that, where that's applicable, but I knew that I was talking to a 1% client and I was willing to make a very, very good offer. But then I started talking to him about offer creation, because this was around the time that I was really trying to like obsess over these things around 2022. I really wanted to like learn more about packages and offers and how to sell our services much easier. And he started just like spitballing ideas, and I realized, depending on who you're selling to, $10,000 looks different to other people. So I'll give you an example. To a local brick and mortar business, A $10,000 package, that could be kind of crazy if you spread it out to, like, let's just say $1,000 across 12 months. Now that's 12,000, but because you're financing it, that's a deal. $1,000 a month. Okay, local brick and mortar businesses can do that. That's great. If you're selling for example, a high-end entrepreneur who can only give you 2 days worth of his time, um, $10,000 could go a long way. $10,000 can order an Uber Black to pick him up from the airport, or her, if she's $10,000 can say, hey, look, this is how we're going to strategize. We're going to film a whole year's worth of content in 2 days, right? I know
Yeah.
you value your time, so I'm
Yeah.
going to do that for you. And it's a whole experience. In 2 days, they film a whole year's worth of content. You use that money, you take the client out to dinner, you pick them up in the Uber Black, and you take them back to the airport. What an experience. $10,000 here, $10,000 here. To whom you are selling that to has a big, big impact on how they're going to take that offer. But that's really the offer game, is like, who do I have vicinity to, or who do I have access to, or who do I want to speak to realistically, and what
Hmm.
do they value, and put that in the package.
Cool. All right. Let me ask you something. You know Russell Brunson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let's imagine, let's say Russell Brunson needs some video work done for his, say, an event, Panel Hacking Live.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's happening in March or February, or maybe already
I think
happened.
it just happened, yeah.
It just happened. Anyways, so let's say they want some promo videos and they want you to create an offer for them. Can you, like, let's say, of course, they're not going to tell you the price. And I want you to go ahead and create an offer for Russell Brunson. What would you like include in the offer, and how much would you charge them? What would you charge him, and what kind of questions would you actually ask him?
Yeah, no, I like it, being put on the spot. I can appreciate that. So, first thing is, I will answer your question, but this is what it means to do critical thinking, and because you asked a great question, but I'm gonna do this example for the viewers. This, like, when we as videographers, video creatives, can learn to be creative and think outside of the box, that really helps us out in more ways than one. And so, for example, let's just say, I'm in a room and I want to sell Russell Brunson. Well, to give you the answer, Russell Brunson probably doesn't need any of these things. I already know this because he has his own team. He has all these other people. But if I had to, I'll tell you what I would do. But what I would do is I would still get in the room with Russell Brunson and other people who want to be like Russell Brunson, and I will sell them videos so they could be like Russell Brunson.
No, okay. Okay, let me explain. Let's say
Does that
his
make
team
sense?
is super busy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say his team is super busy. They don't have time. Maybe they're focused on producing the actual event, and they want to subcontract someone
Sure.
to create, some promo video for the event.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm trying to get from you is like, okay, how would you approach the opportunity? Like, what would be the process of, like, coming up with, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for you, and this is how many videos we're gonna make. This is the type of videos we're gonna make for you,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the number. Because that number thing, man, is scary. I'm not gonna lie
Mm.
to you, man. It's tough to just say it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not easy.
Mhm.
So how? Because the thing is, like, when you know somebody has money,
Mhm.
for them it's like money is not a problem. Russell Brunson has money. Money is not a problem.
Mhm.
But you also don't want to take advantage because he has money. You want to make sure whatever you're offering actually makes sense and it's valuable to him.
Absolutely.
And you also don't want to undercharge, right? So, like, what's the process like especially when like money is not a problem to the client?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great question. That is a more of a sales persuasion question. I'll still answer that, rather than like
Probably,
an
yeah.
offer. But that is a little bit more of like, how do I come up? But in short, through the sales process, what I would do is I would find out, a simple list of questions that I think everybody needs to find out. Everything from, like, why are they doing this, right? Like, your team is super busy. Why are you making more promo videos? Like, is what you're doing not good enough? And essentially, in short, you just find, it's an overused word, but, like, people forget it all the time, the gap, where they're at now and where they want to be, right? So right now our team is super busy, and where do we want to be? We need to be putting out these additional 60 deliverables over the next 6 weeks. For example, oh, okay. So right now you have no help because your team is backed up and you need to do these things. Why do you need to do these things? and then you find out why. What happens if you don't do these things? Well, these are the consequences. Got it. And I'm sure that you guys have like, probably a little bit of a number inside of your mind already, but where are you looking to, like, solution wise, to be able to invest into something like this? And I do this every time. I know there's some people who are like, give the first prize, second prize. I think it depends. But I always like to ask. Now, I don't ask the traditional way that every videographer asks, which is, well, what's your budget? Right? Now, we
Yeah.
do need to get that answer.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Videographer, you are correct. You need to get that answer, but we can't
Yeah.
ask it the same way that everybody's
What's your
asking.
budget?
We can't do
Because
that.
you're just
No.
supposed to sell.
No, yeah, exactly. So it's like, got it. So you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, well, this is how I would handle it. What do you think of this plan? So I would give him the plan. This is how I would handle it if you gave me this. Okay, awesome. I want to go ahead and put a plan together for you for how I can do this, but this will help me out a ton just so I know where you're at. Is there kind of like a budget that you guys already set aside to solve this problem? That's a different question. Is there a budget you guys have already set aside for something
They
like
say they
this?
say no.
They say, oh,
Not
okay.
really.
Well, just for me to understand, then just like to get a range, where would we be at? Where, like, I probably wouldn't be talking to Russell himself. I'd probably be talking to like his
Yeah.
marketing manager.
Yeah.
Like, dude, be real with me, man. I want to help you. I want to put something together. Like what number? Like, if I show you this, Russell would be like, dude, get this proposal out of my face. Like, get this out of my face. I don't want to see this. Like, where would be too far, man? And I'm gonna dial a couple steps back, but where would be too far? He's like, dude, I'll tell you this, man. Like, Russell gave me, like, I can't spend the whole thing, but Russell said that, anything up until this amount of money, then, I can pick them out. Got it, man. And so for that, if you do that and then you get these deliverables, then you and Russell will be happy. Yes. All right, man. I'll put something together for you for that.
Then you come up with a number.
Yeah. But like they must have told me some type of number first, or at least a range.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go in blind. Like I won't spend the time. It's just not it's not worth it. Like, I don't think I think it's easier to sit in that uncomfortable conversation before you take that uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's a word, and then you put it
Yeah.
in the proposal. Because we've all been there, right? Shoot, man, if I just stayed in that conversation a little longer and I was willing to ask one or two more harder questions, it makes the rest of my evening easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
And so then
man.
I would just like sit in the pocket, find out at least a range. That way, like, I'm not aiming blind. Just give me a range, man.
Yeah.
And then for me,
Yeah.
if I would do it for that number, then I would do it. But some other laws that I keep in my head. Number one is the law of there's 2 to 3 numbers that I like to keep in mind in terms of ROI. The easiest one that people love is a 10x, right? Like, this is like a $1 million campaign and they can invest 100,000. For example, it's like, cool, like, you guys make $1 million and like 100,000, 10%. That's perfect. The other one, it just depends on what level. The other one would be like 50%. Like, I'll help you double your money, essentially. Not 10x your money, but double your money. So like, you invest 2K into me, I'll help you make 4K back. Right? Okay, that's clean. That's a good one as well. And another one is just simply like making their money back and then extending the value throughout the year. So it's like, how quickly can you make your money back? How quickly can you break even on this? Because the rest is
Yeah.
gravy.
Yeah.
3
So-
different
so-
lever points.
It all comes down to asking more questions and trying to have the data that you can use to come up with a number.
If you're gonna make a custom offer, correct. If you're looking for a mass market offer, then really what I would do is, and this is what I would do. So this is actually what we did with Think Media. You know Think Media?
Yeah.
So that's one of our clients that we worked with a couple years ago. Funny enough, we were at their Grow with Video Live event, and then we weren't filming it. We were just there as like purchasers of like all their stuff. And then later that year, they ended up hiring us to actually edit some of that same material. So it was really cool to kind of see all that stuff happen. And for them, it wasn't no crazy deal. It was like, I think it was like $4,000 for 30 reels. It wasn't crazy. But it was a trophy and it was profitable. And so the way we have our systems is, as long as we can sell like a short form edit, for example, for a minimum of $150, $100 to $200, $150, then we'll be profiting 70 to 90%. And that's the other thing. That's the magic. So for example, this is for everybody watching. The magic for iPhone is, like, if you guys pay attention, you notice that the iPhone, like, it goes a little bit in price, and maybe they have like bigger iPhones and like upgrades, But the iPhone price has stayed pretty similar throughout the last 3, 5 years. Is that a fair statement, Sam? Like
Yeah,
$1,000
yeah,
phone, $1,000 phone, $1,500,
yeah,
whatever. Their magic doesn't come that they can sell a phone for 1,000. A lot of people can. Their magic comes that they sell this at a 90% profit margin or a 95% profit margin. That they can build a phone like this for like $50, $100. That is the superpower, and that's what all of us as video creatives should be able to do. It's like, how can I get all this done in the most affordable way possible? And that's something that's helped our business out a ton, is that we're able to essentially crank out amazing looking social media edits, and our internal cost is like a couple Starbucks coffees.
yeah. How do you do that?
How do we build those profit margins? So two ways. One is systems, and the other one is people. I guess they're kind of the same thing, but essentially people and systems. If you have a solid system that you can just plug and play people, that's how you know the system in of itself is very valuable. So that's a concept. For example, I was first introduced to that in like the E-Myth, where it's like you want to have a business that the systems are so good that you can have low-level talent operate the systems. Like McDonald's, for example, or other people. I'm not saying it's low-level talent, but entry-level talent. And the whole operation, a multi-million-dollar operation, is ran off of average level talent. And that's because the systems are so good. How can we do the same thing? So we have back-end systems, and then we essentially are able to use overseas help, which is something that's very popular in the agency space. You can get people from the Philippines, from South America, from South Africa, from different places, and essentially get them to pay them. You can pay them a phenomenal wage, more than they would make locally, and also for a certain price that you're doing that, and you make a discrepancy as the entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's huge. Like, because that makes you also a little more competitive, like price wise.
That's
and
right.
and allows you also to have we can manage to have multiple clients at once, and you work less. Like
So much less.
Like, yeah, like I've seen, like what I'm seeing now, like the richer you get, I mean, I don't want to say the richer you get, but like the more money you make or you want to make, I think you kind of have to learn how to work less.
Be more efficient. Yep.
Yeah, because just building systems around your business that allows you to make money without having to physically, I mean, you still have to do the work, but you cannot scale if you're still like doing everything as a business owner.
Can.
So
You got it, man.
so that's awesome, man. Yo, man, this conversation is super awesome, man. It's super exciting. But can you like give us some tips and strategies for someone who's probably getting started, or maybe they've been doing video but they don't really like focus too much into marketing, creating offers, funnels, and things like that? Like, what's the best way or what are the strategies to kind of like get into marketing, to video marketing, actually being actively looking for leads and nurturing them, and converting them into clients, creating offers and things like that? Like, what are your tips you could give it to someone like that?
Yeah. So that's a loaded question, and hopefully it's okay to give a little bit of a loaded answer with
Sure.
all of those things. But if there was like only a few things that, like if I spoke with a video entrepreneur and there was only a few things that they could do, and they had to be successful, right? Like creativity loves constraint. So if we're able to kind of just like, dude, you just have to do these things and you'll be able to be successful. It's essentially to build a business that allows you to make more offers. That's it. Build a business that allows you to make more offers. So what does that mean? It means working with lead gen, just getting contacts of people who are inside of your ICP, your ideal client profile, your niche, whatever you want to call it, the type of people that you work with. Just getting contact with more of those people, and then put out and test out more of your offers. So every videographer, at the very least, listening to this, should have an entry-level offer and like a recurring offer. That's the easiest, one of the easiest things you can do to just get more success. And I know this because we actually tested this out. So after having hundreds of positive case studies throughout the last year, 2 years of us like coaching and helping other people, we were able to build hundreds of case studies, and all credit goes to the video entrepreneur who put in the work. But when we came out with like the undercover funnel system, which is a simple, essentially it's a 4-figure offer. It's $1,000-ish offer. It's on the Google Doc. And then people just get in the habit of sending those out. Within 3 months, from the closed cohort of people that we did this with, they themselves closed over 100 deals cumulatively in 3 months. That's like this closed cohort closing a deal a day. So, and some of these people were in our worlds already a long time. Some of these people were brand new into our worlds, meaning they were brand new into our methodologies. They were brand new into the things we were teaching. And then there was people who already been a while. They knew all the things we were teaching. So what does that tell me? That tells me that whether you are experienced or whether you're not experienced, by simply having an entry-level offer at around that price point and you get it out to people, you're going to inevitably make more sales. Doesn't matter who you are. You're going to make more sales.
Wow, that's powerful. So that's like a low ticket kind of offer.
Mid ticket, I would call it mid to high ticket. I think 4 figures
Okay.
is like on the higher end of mid ticket, lower end of
Yeah.
of high ticket.
Wow.
But the reason it works so well is because of that. Well, there's a couple things. Number one, like psychologically, things that are like $1,000 or under, not that they can't be an impulse buy, but for a service, it's just a great deal. Like a lot of people will spend $1,000 if it says $997. It's 3 figures, but it's like 4 figures, right? So like that's really, really good. A lot of people don't know how to make offers like that profitable, but that's what we teach essentially. Are people who do that offer, they're profiting 70% of everything and they're getting all the work done in about 3 hours. So very, very, very profitable. And so if you're able to do that, then I mean, you're going to be setting yourself up. But dude, like that's really the game. It's like having an offer, putting it out there, getting that mid ticket, and that price point just works for so many businesses because so many businesses can say yes to $1,000, even if they're only going to do one pack with you, instead of saying, yeah, I have a $2,000 or $3,000 offer. Just come back to me once you've built up that money. Whereas in the person who sells them the $1,000 thing, let's just say I help you make this video. This video helps you get more results. Well, then when you have the 2 to 3,000, who are you going to go to? To the guy who you haven't
Who
done
helped
anything
you?
with, or the person who
Yeah.
helped you get there? And therefore, you actually make more money per client. The lifetime value gets bigger and bigger and bigger by having different offer stacks because people buy multiple of your things. So it's such a power move that is so simple on the front end, but once people start doing it, like their whole business changes. And I think that the whole video space as a whole could use a little bit of a refresher in terms of a business model to follow and how to act more like a business than like a creative museum.
So my question is, do you plan those offers ahead of time, or you just wait, to see that, like, obviously after you serve like multiple clients, you already have an idea, you have data you can use to come up with more offers. But like, let's say like for the first time, do you kind of like have those offers kind of ready? So it's like, okay, this is the first offer. Once they're done, I'm gonna make sure the other offer is kind of ready, and then I'll try to offer it to them. Like, how does it work? Or you just wait and try to use data from the previous experience to come up with their custom offer for the next phase?
Yeah. So like to answer that question, there's a saying that I think will be helpful for you and helpful for anybody listening right now. A good offer is not created in our heads, it's created in motion. A good offer is not created in our heads, it's created in motion. Meaning you put something to pen and paper, or in this case, Google Doc pen and paper, and then you get it out there. And while it's in motion, every person you talk to that you show them the offer, they can give you feedback on it. You can say, why do you like this? Why not? And it's in motion that the offer gets better.
Okay.
So a good offer is created in motion, not in like our heads. And the best thing that we can do is just like actually put it out there and get feedback. I found that once I get an offer in front of 10 people's face and I try to optimize it along the way, I get almost all the feedback that I need to make it awesome.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And then your
That's
success
powerful.
compounds. Sometimes it does. Like, here's one last story that I'll share, and hopefully this is more encouraging for people to put offers out there. So last year, in 2024, I was already obsessed about offers, but I actually started tracking. I'm like, what are the closing percentages? How many people that I'm like publishing this offer for other people, they're using these offers? How many deals are they closing? I started tracking these numbers. And what we found was that when I first came out with the structure for like what we call the 1.0 offer, which is that $1,000 offer on the Google document, I originally created that Google document to sell a $2,000 to $3,000 per month high ticket done for you offer. So originally, I created that structure of like how the offer works. So like the offer name, who it's for, what it does, how it works, the pricing, the order of which we have the deliverables, all that stuff originally came to sell a $2,000 to $3,000 per month offer on sales calls. So I would get on a sales call with a prospective client. I would show them, I would read that document. They would say, wow, amazing presentation, let's do it. And I actually calculated it. Now, it was a lot of upsells. I'm very interested in upsells, and I do a lot of upsells. I think it's like one of the easiest way to double your business. If you just got all of your clients to do one more deal with you, how much more money would you make? A ton more. So that's like a thing of its own, but I created that. And so I measured that, and I had about it was crazy. I had about an 8, and I never had this happen again afterwards. About an 80% close rate on a $2,000 to $3,000 per month offer. On sales calls. It was an upsell. I had about an 80% close rate. It was insane. It was crazy. And so I'm like, dude, this is awesome. It's just the offer really was so good. And I was really, truly, we were delivering $4,000 worth of value and like all that type of stuff for that same offer. So we ended up cutting the offer. Happy clients, great testimonials. That allowed us to make new offers that took certain deliverables from that. But I was like, I don't want to make that specific offer again. But I learned a lot. We made a lot of money. That offer made almost 6 figures in of itself. And then I took that offer structure and I created an offer for $500 per month. I'm like, okay, if it worked great at 2 to 3K, I'm going to take the exact same offer structure and I'm going to try to sell an offer for $500 per month, a service offer. And I'm going to sell it via DMs. The first one at high ticket did 80%. This second one at low ticket, what do you think it did, Sam? I'm just curious. Like, I'll tell you the number, but what do you think that it's same offer structure that was proven and higher? I'm gonna send it to more people, and I'm gonna lower the price. What do you think that one
Well,
did?
I would assume it did better. I mean, in terms of like percentage
Mhm.
wise, so almost 100%.
Yeah, no. So actually, 10x worse. It did 8%. It converted
Oh,
at 8%. So I had this offer. I would get on sales calls. It did 80%. After being on a high horse and like, oh, I know how to write offers and my offers sell and all this type of stuff, I wrote another offer at a lower price point that I thought was gonna crush, and it sold at 8%.
oh, it was 8%, not 80.
The first one was 80. The second one was
Okay.
8.
Oh no.
Yeah, the
What?
higher ticket one on sales calls was 80. Then the second one was 8 without sales calls, but it was a lower price point. The sales calls part didn't have anything to do with it. It was just
So
like
what
that.
happened?
So what happened was I learned some things. I got humbled. It was a really great experience for myself, but it also reminded me that again, a good offer is not made in our heads, it's made in motion.
Yeah,
So I
true.
then created another offer after that, similar price point, and then that one closed at like 56 to like 63%, depending on the profiles they were at, different profiles we were promoting it via DMs, no sales calls. Phenomenal close rate. The next offer did same price point. So I fixed the offer. So what that means for people is again, like I wasn't like at that moment in time stubborn about that offer. Oh no, I need to sell it more. It's like no, I'm gonna scrap this. I
Mm-hmm.
made some money with it. Great. Let me build another offer, and then that offer did better.
Yeah. Okay, I
And
see.
so things happen all the time, but like you want to measure it and you just never know how it's going to work until you do it. So like my advice is a good offer is made in motion, not in our heads. In my head, I just came off of a high. This offer made almost 6 figures on just that one package. I'm going to do a baby version of that. And it did 8%. Dude, shocking for me. Then I took what I learned from that. I made another offer, and then that one was closing at like minimum. The lowest profile was 56% for everybody that saw that. So like 1 in 2 people bought the offer, and it ended up working out really well. So that was just a learning lesson. I was like, wow, like even after you know stuff, like you never know how your next offer is going to do
Yeah.
until you put it out there and test it in motion.
So when you're selling via DMs, you can even use VAs, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can absolutely do
Oh,
that. Yeah.
so
We
which
call
one
them
is it?
DMMs, direct message managers. You can hire people to just manage your inbox.
Yeah, that's sweet. Oh man, like okay. So it looks like oh man, time is going fast. This is so good. Before we land the plan, let's I wanted to ask you personally, like, what's the future? How are you planning on scaling your business? I know you're crushing it, you and Jay. Your agency is doing very well, but like how like what's the next level for you guys?
Yeah. So, to share with you what we're doing and everybody else listening, I do believe that the advice that most people in the video business world are sharing is not that it's bad advice, it's just a lot of it is kind of an outdated playbook that works until it doesn't anymore. And what I mean specifically is like only having one way to get leads and only selling one offer. You've probably heard of that, right? Like one offer, one avatar, one lead source, and scale that to 1 million. And a lot of people, even like people that I look up to, still kind of say things like that. But I just couldn't disagree more, and that's just based off of my personal experience. So, what we're doing, it's already been in motion. What us, a couple other cool video business owners are doing. What I recommend anybody listening is essentially to follow what we call the milliographer model. So there's a certain business model that we built in order to hit 7 figures this year with our company. And essentially, it just means all it means, guys, is having different ways to close and sell people and have different offers. That's it. So, Sam, I know you already know a couple of these, but I'll talk about the different offers and I'll talk about the different selling methods. And if you guys do this, then you're solid. You really, really well on your way. The different offers would be to have a super, super awesome high ticket offer that you can charge 4,000 per month, 6,000 per month, 10,000, whatever, like a very, very expensive one where you only want a handful of those clients per year. I'm telling you guys this, that right now we've worked with monster clients, like at least for us, clients that paid us seven, eight, $10,000 per month for months on end, right? And those are very, very high operationally cost clients. Like it's great. They bring a ton of revenue, but it's a lot of stress. They have the highest expectations. And what I found is after like 2 to 3, it doesn't just break the business model, it breaks the videographer. Like so much of what I do is also like emotional management. I'm like, dude, like you got this. It's fine. We're going to switch the business model. You got this. But like, don't like, there's people who are like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore because it can get that crazy. And, and,
Yeah.
and they're making 30K, 40K, 50K, 60K
Yeah.
a month. It
Yeah, it
still can
gets
happen.
real, man. It gets real. Yeah, yeah.
It's a real
Yeah.
thing. So
I feel yeah.
only have a select few of those clients at that level, then make a good chunk of your revenue having clients that are paying $1,000 to $3,000 per month. If anything, this could be like, I believe a healthy number is like half of your revenue to be on this recurring number. Then be willing to sell a ton of one-time deals that lead to the retainer. That's the difference. Like we all love retainers. We're still gonna get retainers. It's just there's so many people who don't want to buy retainers off the bat. And so just get them a one-time offer, get a great experience, and then watch how they're gonna want to work with you more. There's certain percentages. So have a lot of one-time offers. Be willing to get creative throughout the year. Create one-time offers that gets people into working with you longer. And then last but not least, is kind of like digital assets for $100 or less. It's just good to like have leads because a certain percentage of those people will buy a couple $100 thing from you. A certain percentage of those people will buy a couple $1,000 thing from you. A certain percentage
Yeah.
will buy 6 figures worth of stuff from you, right? In your
Yeah.
business. So have multiple offers and then multiple marketing, like lead generation sources. Essentially, the way we have ours is stage one is what we call a content and conversation funnel. So it's just like good old organic content plus direct message outreach. So like reaching out to your friends, your followers, your LinkedIn connections, etc. Just kind of build that up and get that to essentially KPI, which for us KPI is like $4,000 to $5,000 per month in new revenue. So like everybody's trying to build a business that they make $10,000 per month every single month. It's like, dude, that's a big ask. That's kind of tough. I'm not saying you can't generate that much money in your business. All I'm saying is on the front end, like if you can bring in 4 to 5K in new business every month, that solves a lot of problems because you can upsell, you can get clients to buy again. There's so many things you can do to double that revenue. But all I'm saying is get your front end funnel to do that. Then essentially we would optimize using like email marketing. I know you do email. I know you talk about VidLead and stuff like that. So if there's a link here, like guys, sign up for VidLead because that'll help you out. And then include email marketing with that. Essentially, what email does is it just allows you to follow up more because you're just email blasting. People see you more, and so that
Mm-hmm.
normally picks up an extra 10 to 30% in like any metric you're trying to get. So if you're trying to like get more leads, that usually boosts you up 10 to 30%. If you're trying to get more clients or more revenue, that's usually between 10 to 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Then you duplicate that across another platform. Okay, I did it on Facebook, let me do it on Instagram. Okay, I did it on Instagram, let me do it on LinkedIn. Do that, optimize your emails, and then finally run ads. I'm a big believer that people shouldn't spend a dime on ads until they're like at about $20,000 per month comfortably. Once you do that, then you're in a good position to start running ads. Before, I just have so many people who come to me after, no hate, but they just like go to all these other programs. They tell them, hey, spend two, three, four, $5,000 in ads, and they come back to me after they ran out of money. And it's like, yeah, like not everybody can do that, and you're not at the stage to do that. Eventually you will, but these are what we need to do first. So ads is a part, but having multiple ways to do that. Selling models essentially is close deals in the DMs, learn how to do upsells, which essentially it's easy. You just talk to somebody who's already paid you money and you see if you can help them out some more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really
Quick,
an
quick
upsell.
question. Do you like for the upsells? Does it have to be a higher number
What do you
when you're
mean?
upselling?
Does it have
So
to
let's
be a
say some,
higher number?
yeah, let's say somebody bought, I don't know, a 2,000 offer
Mhm.
from you, and you want to upsell them after you delivered everything. The upsell, does it have to be a higher number, like a 3,000 thing or another 2,000? Could it be lower, like another 1,000 offer or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at the end of the day, it just the number one thing that I want everybody to realize is there's reasons why certain points in time you would want it to be lower, you would want it to be the same, or you would want it to be higher. There's different points in time. But the first thing is just like an offer, an upsell is made in motion. Can you just get that client to give you some money again? But there's different ways to upsell. So sometimes we upsell with like simple order bumps, is what we call them, like in-person or digital order bumps. Or it could be like something big. So for example, we have a client and we're gonna do a virtual studio setup for them, and it's $500. Let's just call it $500. And then like while we're setting up the studio, we're like, hey, let's just film a couple videos, right? Like we're already here, I'm here, you're here. Let's film some videos. You have your hook list, you have your, GPT. You can kind of come up with stuff on the spot. You're like, let's film some videos. The client films some videos. Wow, you did great, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. You did awesome. Like, how do you feel? Oh, Sam, like, thank you for this. I feel better. I didn't think we were gonna do videos today, but we did videos. I feel pretty good about it. Fantastic. Well, Mrs. Jones, what do you want to do with these videos? I can send them to you, or if you like, I can like tell you what it would be for me to edit them. Yeah, how much would that be, Sam? Well, Mrs. Jones, for our edits, we normally charge $150 per edit, but because we're already doing some stuff together and you honestly did a really good job, you should pat yourself on the back for what you did. We'll actually be able to offer you to do the same edits for 50% discount, so $75 per edit. Let's just say you filmed 10 videos. Well, now you just took that $500 deal and you just added 750 to it, and now boom, you have a 1250 deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do like a order bump on the spot. Another
Yeah.
one, like for people who are watching that are in real estate, did this one all the time. It works still to this day. Film
Mm-hmm.
film the real estate video. But then like
Mm-hmm.
before you say goodbye to the client and you're like, hey, let me edit this. Like, hey, do you want to film a couple like talking head reels while we're here? The real estate agent's dressed well. The house looks nice. Film a couple videos on the spot. It's kind of like you go to a restaurant and you want to buy a burger, and then they're like, do you want bacon with that? You're like, sure. Like on the spot, they're offering you more. Do you want to supersize those fries, or do you want like a ice cream? Do you want a dessert? Like every industry is trained to sell you more. How can we take those exact same things in our business? So that's number one. Just try to get it more. But then also it depends like on what you're doing. For certain clients, we found like let's just say they paid $1,000 for an offer and they're like, I really love this. We're like, great. This is normally 3,000, but if you want to do this for another 6 months, we can actually lock in your rate at $1,000 a month. And now you took a client that paid you 1,000 one time, and now they're gonna pay you an extra 6,000 because they locked in their rate. Then they have some other clients who are like, yeah, I want to do more stuff. I want to do like this was great, Sam. Now I want to do all these other ideas, and then you can come up with a package that's like 3x the size of the original package. There's just so many ways to go about that, but it's an art in of itself, and all of them work, and we do all of them.
Dude, man, I don't want this thing to end. I'm sure the you people watching or listening to the audio podcast is the same thing. But man, like I'm super grateful to have you, man, on the show. I know it's super busy, but you still give your time for me, for my audience, and man, like whatever you just did, man, this is like a master class. Hopefully, guys, if you want, I mean, we can't stay here forever. So if you guys want him to come back, man, let me know down in the comment section.
Mm.
We can invite him back. But man, like we kind of have to end. I feel bad, but it is what it is. So, obviously I'm gonna leave some like your handles, your social media handles down below for the people who want to reach out to you. But yeah, obviously for the people who want to reach out to you, like what's the best way to find you? You have a coaching program. I know we talked about it. You and your brother coached me. You're still coaching me, and like guys, like it's awesome. I'm getting the results, so they're very good. You heard what
We're
he
putting in
said
the
on the
work, man.
podcast. So yeah, for the people who are interested, maybe reaching out to you, have questions, like what's the best way to get in touch?
Yeah, yeah. Bro, again, Sam, dude, thank you for having me. Hopefully, this was valuable for you, but for your audience as well. And dude, you're absolutely crushing it. We're just grateful to be a part of it. But you're the one doing the work, and it's very well deserved results also. But for anybody who wants to connect with me, they can just reach out to me on social media. I'm on Facebook a lot. So maybe my Facebook profile will be linked on there, or Instagram. And also, I'm going to be putting out some more YouTube content this year. We'll probably have a little bit of a conversation on
Nice.
that. I know you've, like, dude, like you are the king of like live streaming and like super great high quality content. And I need a little bit of that, some of that professional help in my world over here. But I want to, put out some more content, so you can, look me up on any of the social platforms. And I'm going to create a ton more educational content on YouTube this year in 2025. So that's probably going to be like the most valuable free asset that I have for people. So if they want to find out more, they can find me on YouTube.
Guys, I'm trying to create an offer to come up with an offer for this guy. Can you believe it? How tough it's gonna be?
We'll talk, man. Yeah, let's
Creating an
do it.
offer for the king of the offers.
We'll talk, man.
All
Let's do
right,
it.
man. Man, thank you so much, guys. Again, if you watching on video, I actually had a conversation with Rob's brother, two brothers actually, Jay and Robert. So I'm gonna be linking those conversations here. Guys, those guys, man, like all of them, the three brothers, they're amazing. Sales, marketing, offers, funnels, all the good stuff, fancy words that get you money. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like they're very good. So you want to make sure you check out the videos. They're gonna be linked right here. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna see you on the next episode. For the people listening on audio as well, I'm gonna link all the shows down below in the show notes. Yeah, but other than that, man, thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much for being here today. And guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Bye, guys.